Hello all and welcome. This is episode 2 of using black and white film to better understand the whole photographic process. Yeah, it's a mouthful, I know. Let's recap what happened in the last video. We made a decision that we are going to do a portrait of my friend Major. We decided we're going to do it in the studio. We are going to use studio strobes, and we're going to use a medium format camera, and we are going to use Fuji Acros 100, which is old and expired, but that doesn't matter. We're going to do it anyway. And we are going to set up the studio today. Yay! Here we are. This is all the gear we're going to use today. I'm going to go through it all very quickly, and then we're going to set up the studio. Now we're going to do a portrait. Now the first thing that I would normally do if this was for a client was to find out what the portrait is for. Is it for work? Is it for personal use? What is it for? In this case, we are just playing in the studio. Yay! What I decided to do though is I'm going to revisit my old style of doing a portrait. I love black and white, so I haven't done it for a long time of this particular style. It's one light and a reflector, and for many years that was kind of my signature. Just one light and a reflector, very simple. When I was doing those, I would use my studio strobe, which is, these are Hensel's. I've had them for a long time and they do the job. There's nothing fancy about them. I love them. That's all you need. You can find used gear all over the place. You don't need anything fancy. If you're doing it all the time and you have big shoots, maybe then. But right now, check out some used gear and I'm sure you can find some. So the strobe is here, and then on the strobe we have to put a light modifier. What I used to use all the time was a softbox. I really love the soft light, but softboxes are a real pain to set up. If you've ever done it before, they're a pain. So I switched to using a very large umbrella, and the style I did before, like I said, was softbox. This is with an umbrella, so it's something new in the old way. Also, with the umbrella, I recently got this lovely large diffuser, so this will make the light even softer. Again, I love soft light. But your modifiers don't have to be soft light. They can also produce a harder light. This is a softbox. This isn't as soft as a lot of other softbox. It only has one little white diffuser in there, but it does have these little levers. So great. You can narrow the beam of light that comes out. This is a much narrower light than the umbrella. It's fabulous. This I would use, sometimes I would use in the front when I was doing body portraits, but a lot of times I'll use this in the back to create a nice rim light. But today we're going to actually just use a reflector to create the rim light. Also, yes, awkward. Yeah, this is a little bit like a beauty dish. Now today beauty dishes are very popular, and this is similar to that, but it's a very harsh light. This is very old. There's still dust on it. I dug it out. I don't use it very often because, again, I like the soft light. But there's lots of artistic choices to be made about the quality of the light that you want falling on the subject. Do you want it harsh? Do you want it soft? Somewhere in between? Do you want a rim light, a hair light? All of those decisions you need to think about before you even get to setting up, because you need to have your gear with you. Let's see, what else? Stands. So the light needs to go on a stand. This is a very old stand. Once you invest in these things, they last forever if you take care of them. This is probably 40 years old. It's crazy. It's a Manfrotto. But it has a few issues now that is so old, so I invested in some newer Manfrottos. I love these things. They link together, so it makes carrying them way easier. I can carry it with one hand, although for me, they're getting heavy these days, so most of the time I put them in a cart. These are really great. They're really tall, so I can use 2 of them for my background and 1 for the main light. Again, 1 light and a reflector. That's my signature style. Let's see, what else? We have to hook. We have the light, we have the modifier, we have to hook the light to the camera. We can use pocket wizards. These are pocket wizards. One goes into the light and then one goes on top of your camera, and these two talk to each other. So when you press the button, it sends a signal, and this one will set the flash off. Nowadays, a lot of times when you buy a new light, it will have some sort of system that you can attach to the top of your camera, and you can actually control the power of the light. These don't do this. Again, they're old school. All it does is trigger the light. Because I'm using an old camera though, I have to resort to old technology. This is a sync cord. These were fun. So one goes into the light and the other end goes right to your camera. And on this one, it's right up in here. And these were a pain in the butt. So I always had 3 of these in the studio at one time, because it never fails. You'd be in the middle of a shoot and this thing gets pulled out because somebody runs into the cord. Ugh, it was such a pain. Pets and kids using these, pain in the butt. So, but that's what we're going to use. Over here we have my trusty reflector and my reflector arm. I went for many years not using a reflector arm. I just attach this to it. Reflector arm is amazing. It's worth the price. And a small stand that was part of my Hensels. When I bought the set, they came with some smaller stands. And then here, this is my background. This is my favorite background. It is almost like a canvas, but it's way lighter than a canvas. It's very thin. And it's a little bit muddled. You can see it's a little bit gray instead of pure black. I really like this, so that there's a little bit of something in the background instead of just plain black. So again, I have had this for a long time, so it's part of my signature style. So we are going to set all of this up, and we're doing the umbrella with the softbox. We're going to do the reflector, and we're going to set up the backlight, the background, and then we will load the camera, do a light test, and then do a photo. Just burnt out. These things happen. I have a second one, but it's not here. I decided we were going to continue on because that's what we do. A lot of times in photography, you are actually problem solving. Probably didn't realize that, but it totally is all about being prepared. If it doesn't go the right way, then you just shift course and you keep going anyway. Because if you're out with a client, you have to get the job done regardless of what happens. So that was actually a pretty good little lesson. Wasn't planned, but here we go. Next thing we're going to do right now is we are going to load the film in my Bronica. Now this camera has a film in the back right now, and there's this little handy dandy square here that you used to, which we're going to do. We tear off the end of the cardboard box and you can put it in there, and then you know exactly what film is in this camera back. Again, I have not used this camera in a very long time, so I'm going to be a little fumbly, but that's okay. In this side, there is what we call a dark slide, and this is protecting the film from being exposed to the camera. It also allows us to take the back off the camera, and then the film itself is covered. We are going to move, this is the spool that the film came off. We're going to take that out because it comes out I actually did check. And we're going to put it becomes the uptake spool. So your film comes on a spool, and once the film comes off the spool, that spool becomes the uptake spool. We're going to open the acros, like that. We're going to take this little piece. We're going to change the thing right now so that I don't forget, because a couple of times when I was doing this all the time, I had forgotten. And then you develop the film at the wrong ISO. Now, film has a huge latitude, so sometimes it would be okay, but we're going to change it. See, it says acros now. And here we go. We open up the film. Ta-da. We're going to peel a little bit of this off. Take that one right off. There's your little tongue. Into here. Like that. It wraps around. And on the spools, there's a little area for this notch to slide into, just like that. There we go. Now, we're turning the film, and it would come up, and it says start. And that's as far as you go. Then you put your back on, and back onto the camera. Just like that. We're taking out the slide, and we wind this till it gets to number 1, and it stops at number 1. Camera is loaded and ready to go. Yay! We are going to test the studio strobe. The strobe itself is still working. The modeling light is not, as you saw, but we're going to continue on. You don't have to have a modeling light. All it is a continuous light that allows you to actually see the light when you are working with your subject. You can see what it looks like. Because this is a strobe, a regular light meter cannot read it. You actually need to have a flash reading light meter. So this is a very old Sgsmåk, and when I was getting ready to do this video, I realized that my cord, so you would put your sync cord into the light, and then there's an area here that you actually put it right into the flash meter, and you would just hold it and press, and it would flash, and it would take a reading at the same time. Now, unfortunately, like I said, this gear is very old and I haven't used it in a long time, so that particular part is not working. So my solution was to use the Pocket Wizards. I've put the Pocket Wizards in the flash, and I'm holding the other one in my hand. Now, the light meter, this is a flash light meter and a continuous light meter. So you have to make sure that you put your mode onto flash, and you have to make sure that you put your ISO at the ISO of whatever film you're using. So we are using acros. It's 100. I've already set it. I haven't touched the power on my flash yet. And we're just going to come over here. We press the button. This is where the subject's face is going to be. We press the button, and the flash is ready, and bang! And it flashes, and it tells us that with this light right now, it's 2.8 at 60th of a second. Yay! That's probably not going to be, I want a little bit more depth of field, so I'm going to turn this up. I think it's around a stop, but let's give it a shot. Press the button, press the flash, put it in where his head is going to be. We're ready. That. And now it's at f4. You know, now with the digital camera, I just sort of change it and then I look on the back of the camera. But with film, you can't do that. That's the exciting part. You don't know what you have until you get it. All right, let's do another one. We'll press that, and 5, 6, yay! So that's where I want to be. So I need, when I'm taking a meter reading, I have to have the light in the position where I think it's going to be and where the subject is going to be. During the photo session, if I'm moving things around, I will have to take another light meter reading so that I can ensure that I have the proper exposure. We have everything ready, and we're gonna do a photo session next. Yay, we're gonna photograph Major. Gonna be so fun. In reality, I'm doing it on a different day. I will have the modeling light working properly so you can actually see the light. I'll be in different clothes. Major will be here. It'll be a lot of fun. So I hope you join us. Stay tuned. Oh yes, please, if you like what's going on, please subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. And check out one of my older videos. I mentioned Musqueam project. Check that out as well. Thank you.